All right, listen up, tower operators. Welcome back to the simulator. Today, we are running a high-stakes, maximum-pressure explainer. I want you to imagine you are sitting in the director's chair at air traffic control. The radar is sweeping, the lights are flashing amber. You've got incoming aircraft from every direction, and the clock is relentlessly ticking down. That intense, hyper-focused state, that is exactly the mindset you need for the Cambridge AS Level Afrikaans exam, specifically Syllabus 8679. Today, we are zeroing in on one of the most critical, high-reward sectors of your entire radar grid, the building vocabulary component. Now look, if you've been studying for this paper, you know it can feel completely overwhelming. It's like looking at a sky full of overlapping flight paths with zero visibility. But today, we are going to clear the fog. We are going to initialize your radar grid and break down the exact criteria the examiners use. We are going to teach you how to manage that extreme exam time pressure, stop guessing, and prioritize the highest yield marks on your screen.
Right off the bat, let's look at the telemetry and talk about why you need to lock onto this target immediately. 15%. I need you to really process that number. A massive 15% of your total marks for Paper 2 rests entirely on this single vocabulary component. In our tower, we call this a heavy aircraft. It demands your absolute priority. This isn't just some minor turbulence you can ignore, or a tiny detail you can cram for the night before your flight. Securing this 15% can literally be the difference between a smooth landing into a higher letter grade or a catastrophic crash in your overall score. The stakes are absolutely real. But here is the good news. The flight path to securing these marks is incredibly structured. It operates on what we call the fuel-to-mark budget formula. Every minute of mental energy, your fuel, needs to be spent acquiring the maximum possible marks. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to optimize that burn rate.
Think of this explainer as your official examiner's blueprint. Here is the approach vector we are routing today. First, core principles. Second, technical methodology. Third, critical analysis. And finally, examiner warnings. Let's get clearance and take off.
Sector 1 on your screen, core principles. Let's calibrate the radar.
If there is only one thing you take away from this first phase of the simulation, let it be this. Simple rote memorization of Afrikaans words is not going to keep your airspace safe. The Cambridge examiners are not just testing if you swallowed a dictionary. They are testing three very distinct cognitive domains, which you can think of as the three layers of your radar system. The first layer is knowledge and understanding. Simply put, do you know the vocabulary? Can you identify the blip on the screen? The second layer is analysis. Can you break down complex sentences systematically? Can you track the speed and direction of that blip? And the third, most advanced layer is evaluation. Can you use evidence-based reasoning to make a judgment call? Successful candidates, elite tower operators, demonstrate competence across all three of these layers simultaneously. You can't just spot the plane, you have to guide it all the way down.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? The crucial point is this. Top-performing candidates show a connected, conceptual understanding. The syllabus explicitly states that you must be able to transfer what you know to entirely unfamiliar contexts. Imagine a sudden crosswind hitting the runway, a scenario, a text, or a cultural reference in the exam that you have literally never seen before. Your vocabulary shouldn't fail just because the conditions changed. You have to use your foundational knowledge to puzzle out the meaning, adapt on the fly, and build your responses. It is all about mental agility. It's about being able to safely route a plane you've never encountered before by relying on your core operational principles.
Which brings us to Sector 2, technical methodology. This is where we route the approach vector.
Okay, so how do you actually execute this when you are sitting in the exam hall, the clock is ticking, and the pressure is spiking? It comes down to a vital concept called the method marks strategy. Look, Cambridge isn't just looking for the final, perfectly polished answer to magically appear on the page. They award marks for the process itself. If you showed your workings, your textual interpretation, and your systematic approach, you are harvesting crucial points along the way. You have to make your thinking visible to the examiner. Now, let me introduce you to two rookie operators I see in the simulator all the time. First, we have router Alex. Alex is meticulous, but Alex gets completely bogged down in minor vocabulary details. A single word they don't know creates an infinite holding pattern in their brain, and they freeze, burning precious exam time and ignoring the rest of the text. Then, on the other extreme, we have router Sam. Sam is fast, too fast. Sam spots one familiar Afrikaans word, assumes they know the entire context, and clears arguments for landing way too quickly, without verifying any structural safety regulations. Both Alex and Sam crash. To survive, you need to balance Alex's attention to detail with Sam's decisiveness, earning method marks by showing a calm, structured process.
Let's dive into the exact radar tracking system you need to avoid those rookie mistakes.
When you face a complex, high-tariff past paper question, you must force yourself to follow this strict 6-step procedural framework. This is your approach layout. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. What is the actual directive? Step 2. Extract the relevant data and vocabulary from the stimulus text. Don't guess, pull it directly from the source. Step 3. Select your analytical framework. How are you going to tackle this? Step 4. Execute with clear notation. Write out your thought process. Step 5. Verify your results. Does this actually make sense in context? And Step 6. Present your findings using the correct, high-level terminology. This step-by-step interpretation prevents Router Alex's infinite holding pattern and Router Sam's reckless landings. It keeps your answer on the perfect glide slope and secures every single method mark available.
But wait, hold on. It is not just about getting the words right. Professional presentation is absolutely mandatory. This is the structural safety regulation that Router Sam completely ignored. According to the source material, the examiners look for incredibly strict conventions, proper headings, correct Afrikaans terminology, appropriate formats, and clear annotations. Think of this as the radio protocol between you and the pilot. If your formatting is a mess, the message gets lost in static. Your formatting is just as important as the vocabulary itself. If your brilliant language skills are buried in a messy, improperly formatted, chaotic answer, you are leaving massive points on the table. You are essentially letting a perfectly good aircraft crash right at the end of the runway because you couldn't be bothered to turn on the landing lights.
Moving into Sector 3, critical analysis. Things are heating up on the radar.
Tower transmission check. Pause the simulation for a second. Before we clear this next critical response for touchdown, I need to ensure your transponder is fully updated. If you are finding this breakdown helpful and you want to master every single aspect of your exams, hit pause, subscribe to Ace the Exams right now, and turn on all notifications. Do not let these high-yield strategies slip off your radar. Okay, transmission complete. Let's resume the simulation. You're mid-paragraph, and suddenly you encounter an unexpected structural block. The vocabulary is dense, the meaning is obscure, and panic starts to set in. This is where you deploy the ultimate formatting template to guide your sentence back onto the glide slope. We use the Deconstruct, Solve, Evaluate loop, supercharged by the Peel template. Point, evidence, explanation, link. First, you identify the given information and make your point. Then you break it into logical steps, providing your textual evidence. Next, you solve systematically through your explanation of the vocabulary. Finally, you check reasonability and make justified recommendations, linking it back to the overarching question. This evaluation phase is what separates the novices from the elites. Top-scoring candidates constantly question assumptions, consider different perspectives, and most importantly, justify every single decision with clear, Peel-structured evidence from the text.
Let's run a live interactive runway workshop right now. I want you to track this with me. Look at the data mapped out here. We have a weak analysis versus a strong analysis. Let's set a visual timer in our heads for 60 seconds. Your objective: isolate the primary trend variable that makes the difference here. Okay, scanning, got it? The weak analysis just identifies similarities. It says text A and text B both use big words. That is a weak radar ping. But a strong, top-scoring analysis identifies similarities and differences. It uses appropriate, sophisticated comparative connectives in Afrikaans. It supports every single comparison with hard evidence from the text, and it draws nuanced conclusions about their relative importance. It doesn't just say the planes are both flying, it calculates their exact relative altitudes and speeds. That right there is how you hit the highest cognitive domain of evaluation.
Entering the final sector. Examiner warnings. Amber alert status. Cambridge provides principal examiner reports every year. Think of these as the black box flight data recordings from past candidates who crashed and burned. We study these so we don't repeat their fatal errors. I want you to listen to this direct quote very carefully. The classic mistake is providing generic answers not specific to the question context. Always link every point to the given scenario. This is the ultimate red flashing warning light on your console. If you just dump a bunch of memorized Afrikaans vocabulary onto the page without tying it to the specific scenario or text provided in the exam, you will immediately lose marks. Context is absolutely everything. This is what we call debris on the runway. It doesn't matter how beautiful your airplane is, if the runway is littered with irrelevant, generic information, the landing is going to be a disaster.
Let's do our second interactive workshop, clearing the debris. Here are the 3 fatal errors pulled straight from the examiner reports. Error 1. Forgetting to include the proper format. This is dropping incredibly easy marks because you rushed. Error 2. Failing to check that format and presentation before moving on. This is Router Sam, clearing the runway without a final visual check. And Error 3, the massive one we just discussed, writing generic, unlinked answers not specific to the context.
I want you to imagine looking at a sample student answer. It uses beautiful vocabulary, complex sentence structures, but it's answering a question about rural farming using vocabulary suited for technology startup. Boom! Safety violation. Points dropped. You have to actively hunt for these 3 fatal errors in your own writing. Keep these 3 points taped to your desk or mentally pinned to your radar screen every single time you sit down to study.
Now, because the presentation rules are so strict, and managing all these vectors at once can cause cognitive overload, I want to share a high-level stress management tool. It's a memory hack mentioned in our resources, the visual story method. When you are studying complex Afrikaans vocabulary, or trying to encode that strict 6-step methodology we talked about, do not just stare at a list. Create a mental, visual story. Visualize yourself walking through a highly specific, familiar building, maybe this very ATC tower. Every room represents a step in the process or a formatting rule. The heavy steel door at the entrance, that represents your proper headings. The glowing radar screens, that's your clear annotations. By spatializing the data, you are anchoring it deeply in your brain. It's a fantastic way to encode these strict conventions so that when the exam pressure spikes, your training kicks in automatically and you don't panic. You just execute the safe touchdown sequence.
As we prepare to log off the console and wrap up this simulation, I want to leave you with a deeply provocative question. I want you to honestly evaluate your current trajectory. Look at how you studied yesterday. Look at your notes right now. Are you just memorizing lists of words, hoping the right ones show up on the radar? Or are you truly mastering the methodology? Because as we've seen from the examiner's blueprint today, a connected, conceptual understanding and a strict, unshakable procedural process are what will actually unlock that full 15%. Memorization is just fuel. Methodology is the engine.
All right, Router Alex and Router Sam have officially logged a successful full-mark landing sequence. And so can you. Remember the fuel-to-mark budget formula. Invest your time in learning the frameworks, not just the raw words. It is time to put this into action. Take these strategies, open up a Cambridge AS Level Afrikaans past paper, and practice applying the deconstruct, solve, evaluate loop under time conditions. I want to know how your training is going, so drop a comment below and share which specific paper or component gives you the most anxiety. We might just feature it in our next simulation. And of course, your final clearance command. Make sure you subscribe to Ace the Exams, enable that notification bell so you don't miss our future deep dives, and keep your transponder on. Keep practicing your methodology, trust your radar, and I will see you in the next explainer.